Alrighty, what's up? It's time for another impromptu cooking video. Today we're going to be making a cast iron pizza. So, first thing we're doing is I've got this cast iron. It is currently hot. You might see a little bit of smoke coming off of it. Alright, this is chorizo. It's the only sausage I had. And I have removed the skin. So we're just going to put it in. It's going to be kind of our ground sausage meat for the pizza. I'm just going to put in everything, kind of just get it all crumbly and stuff. I don't want to crumble this. Okay, that's the skin. I got that in because we're going to want as much of the fat to also render, because that's going to be an important part of this cast iron pizza, is for that fat to render into the pan. Let's just keep on trying to mash it up, kind of get it crumbly. I want a crumbly kind of sausage. That's looking pretty good on the pizza. So we'll just kind of let that cook down. Get nice browning on the meat itself. That's also very important. It's getting that Maillard reaction on the sausage itself, the crust on there. I'll actually turn that down a slight bit. Turn on the vent. It might get a little loud in here, but it's already loud from this pan, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, we're gonna let that cook down. The oils, the fat are going to render into the pan, and then we are actually going to use that to our advantage. So over here, I have the dough that has been resting for a bit. So actually, while that is cooking, I think that we can probably, let me just see how quickly this stuff is browning. Ooh, that's browning actually really nicely. And I think it's because chorizo, it has like a sweetness to it. I feel like there's like, I want to say there's like sugar in there, so that's probably why it's browning so quickly. But we want it to get really brown evenly, not necessarily burned, but really nice and brown. I'll even turn that skin over. Yeah, you can see there's a really good amount of browning, a lot of good rendering happening here. You can see all the stuff happening. Yeah, I'm actually going to turn that down a lot. Hello dog, you are in my way. And actually just yeah, turn that on low. Let that just kind of simmer for a bit, as we will now turn our attention to the dough. I'm just deciding to try out a one-take kind of video today. I don't feel like editing it together, so we'll just kind of go as if this were a stream. Yeah, this has just been sitting, covered for a bit. Good amount of oil in there, so let me actually just oil up our countertop, or our cutting surface. Alright, so nothing sticks, so just some olive oil. And then here's our dough. Now I don't think I'm going to need all of this for there, so I'll actually cut off a bit, like maybe about this much. So we'll work with this. So let's kind of I'm not actually good at working with dough, forgive me. Alright, yeah. I work at a bakery, but that doesn't mean I do pizzas, alright? That absolutely doesn't mean that I do pizzas. So I'm just trying to wing it. So, yeah, I want to keep on, I want to try and stretch out those thicker parts here. It doesn't help that I cut an edge, so now I've got this edge of the, sorry, I didn't even realize. I've got this edge that's a little flatter, so we're going to try and compensate for it and just really flatten everything out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to go into this pan anyways. And you're going to want to try to avoid tearing like me. So let's just try and shape that into a rather circular shape. And you know what? That just might work out. So let me, with dirty hands, touch my tripod and go back to this chorizo here. Look at that. That's looking really nice. Handle's probably hot, so let me just grab that. Oh man, look at those colors. Look at that caramelization happening. We've even got a fond on the bottom of the pan. Oh, this is going to be good. Alright, I'm going to let that cook down some more. Get a little bit more browning on some of those pieces. And then I'm going to show you what's going on. Let's actually just remove this piece, because we're not going to be using this. This is the piece that of the skin, the casing, technically, of the sausage. And then I'm going to get a plate lined with a paper towel. I'm not going to want all of that fat still on the sausage. I'm going to want some of that to kind of come up. Actually, I got a bowl here with the paper towel right here. See that? And I'm just going to scoop in the stuff, trying to still leave those drippings there in the pan, because that is very important. I've also got the oven preheated to 400 degrees. I'm just trying to be careful not to spill. Oh, as I just did right there. Fraud detected. I don't really have a scooper per se, but yes, we're going to keep all of these oils in the pan, these fats. Those are going to be very beneficial to our crust. So the idea here is this pan is still hot. In fact, I'm going to turn it up a bit. The heat. So the idea is we are going to take this hot cast iron. We're going to put the crust directly in there, because that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's a cast iron pizza, and so that's going to help crisp up the bottom. It's going to help develop the crust. All right, and so now with that, we're going to get a little bit hotter on that, and now we're going to take that pizza crust that we just kind of stretched out, and it's really stretchy now. Oh man, it's getting big. Oh boy, too much. I'm going to try and just set it in the pan somehow and not burn ourselves. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying my best. Okay, so let's get a little bit of side action here, kind of stretch it out, get a little bit of sides that'll act as our crust. And let's just press down very lightly. This is very hot underneath, and what I'm going to do, because there's heat under there, you're going to start creating air pockets underneath. I'm not going to really want a lot of those, so I'm just going to take a knife and try to make holes so that air can escape from the bottom. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get our sauce in. I'm just using a regular store-bought sauce because this is what I have here. Just a good amount, not too much. I don't like a sauce or a very big sauce ratio for a pizza. I like a tasteful amount of sauce. It's there to complement, not to take over, and I think that's good enough. I'm going to try and get on the crust. I like it when there's a little bit of sauce on the crust, and so when it bakes, it kind of chars it up. Alright. So now we're gonna get our cheese, also just simple store-bought cheese. We ain't too fancy in here. Just your regular low moisture part skim mozzarella cheese from the grocery store. We're just going to put some on there. Get a good amount on there. There we go. Get it up high on the crust. I also like it when the cheese encroaches on the crust and just forms those nice little burnt parts. Get a good coverage. And I think that is good. So now we just I'm gonna just give the sausage another press, and then we're going to turn that off now that it's starting to cook, and just kind of put in some of them crumbles and then spread them out a little bit. And so chorizo is kind of it's kind of like a Hispanic sausage, right? And something that we just made is a bunch of pickled peppers. So we're going to add a lot of peppers to here. Just to give it something else to bind. Just the lightest sprinkle. Just to keep things in there. And now I'm going to take some of these. These are pickled hot banana peppers. I'm just going to grab some out with some chopsticks and just spread them on top. Grab a good handful. I want a lot of peppers on this thing because these are really tasty. We grew these in our backyard and we pickled them here at home. It's really easy to do. Really easy pickle. Okay, so I'll get some of those. And then I have some pickled Anaheims as well. And one of the things I like about this style of cast iron pizza, it doesn't have to look super pretty. And I think that's part of the aesthetic. When the pizza is irregular, when it's not like, you know, all nice looking and stuff, like perfect looking, I think that makes a really nice look of a pizza. Alright, so now that we got our peppers on there, it's time to get this baby in the oven. Let me grab a mitt, because this cast iron, I presume, is a little hot. Let me back you up here. Like I said, this oven preheated to 400. Alright, and so we are going to bake that for, I'm going to say, maybe like, let's start with 11 minutes. This is just a very short oven. This is just using the top half here. So the cooking element is very close to the top. And you know, I said that I was just going to do one take, but I'm going to have to hit the pause because I don't think you're going to want to sit there for 11 minutes while this thing cooks. So when this thing goes off, I will get back to you. Alright, it's time to take this puppy out. It's not a puppy, it's a pizza. Check it. Oh man, look at that. Oh. Look at that bad boy. The crust has puffed up on the outside. We got those big bubblies that I like. Good amount. Dang, hold on. We gotta take this out of the pan and put it on the chop block. Let me turn off the oven. So we're done with that. Let me find a flipper. Give me a flipper. Got one in here. There we go. Ooh, kick the tripod. Alright, we're just gonna go one motion over here. What if I just move it closer? That would be the smarter move, so that there's less distance to cover, less room for failure. Look at that. Look at that pizza. Let me see if we can see the bottom, if the bottom has a nice color. Let me actually lower you down. Alright, let's just get a peek on that bottom, and oh man, yes! Look at that color. It looks like those wood-fired pizzas, how it gets a nice charred bottom. Alrighty. Let's raise it back up. Actually, this is a kind of nice angle. Let me just barely move it up. Just a little bit. Right there seems about good. And we'll angle it down a bit. Let me actually shut off the music that I have playing in the background, because I want to hear the crunch on this crust. Give me a moment. And that music playing on the radio back there. It's not actually the radio, it's just YouTube on the TV. Alright. Let's see. I need a bigger knife. Where are my good knives? That's a short knife. Where's my good knives? Hold on. Alright, I found the 9-inch chef knife. That ought to be good for this. Hold on, just get a good listen on that. Oh, you could hear it go through the crust. Alright. Let's do sixths. I'll chop it into sixths. Oh man. That is a good sound right there. Chop through here. Oh, that crust. Alrighty. Let's get a look at one of these pieces here. Oh man. Would you look at that? The charred bottom that I love. Some people might think it's burnt. That ain't burnt. That's just a good char. Well, already everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the recipe. It's just a simple sausage and pepper pizza made in the cast iron. Wonderful results. The thing is, like, this stuff, anybody could do it. It's that easy. I just learned how to do this stuff yesterday. I watched a video. I tried it here at home. It worked perfectly. And now we have some beautiful pizza here. A nice fluffy crust. Good spring on the bottom crust. Some cheese pull. Let's take a bite of this. It's probably scalding hot, but I do it for the video. Oh man. Oh. That is bomb! That crispy crust, the char, the saltiness, and you know, the spice from the peppers and the chorizo. This is so good. You have to try this. Alright, well, that's going to be it for the video. I'll try to make some more recipes. Let me know what you want me to make. Maybe I'll try something completely crazy, like, I don't know, maybe we'll burn an eggplant or something. I don't know. Well, anyways, bye-bye. I hope you had a BLOST!